It's a beautiful day and another interesting time on the Galaxy Show right on the Rock Hill International TV. My name is Elizabeth Woku, and our guest on the show today is Professor Emeritus of Urban and Regional Planning, the prestigious University of Ibadan. He is no one but Professor Timothy Olayiwola Egunjobi. Good to have you on the program, The Galaxy Show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, your name, let me start with that name, Egunjobi. Your name just reminded me of a classmate I used to have back then, Kehinde Egunjobi. You know, when I see people still able to maintain that name, Egunjobi, you know, Fatola, you know, it amazes me, like in this age, we're still having people who are able to maintain, you know, such a traditional name. I think it's a whole lot. Talk to us about yourself and especially Egunjobi.
My name, as you have said, is Timothy Olayiwola Egunjobi, simply called Layi Egunjobi. Layi is a short form of Olayiwola, and I was born in Ilajioke, in Kajela local government area of Oyo State, Nigeria. I was born on the 28th November 1940, and that's what my father's records show. My father was a convert of Egungun, what do you call it? Egungun worshipper.
Okay.
But the missionaries taught my father how to read and write in Yoruba in order to be able to read the Bible. As a convert. That was the interest of the missionaries in those days. Egunjobi means masquerade. Is born in masquerade. That's those that were in the forefront of Egungun worshipping in those days. So Egunjobi is my surname.
Well,
my own name is Timothy Olayiwola, as given me by these parents. One thing I want to say about naming in Yoruba language, Yoruba tradition, every Yoruba name has a meaning. Every Yoruba name has a historical information behind it. Every Yoruba name has a circumstance that you can refer to, that when he was born, this is what happened. And so as a mark of that, so every name, Egunjobi is the masquerade. Olayiwola means honor enters into honor. Honor, you know, compounds honor. That's the lineage is that of is royal, and that's Ola. So every name in my family has to have that word Ola. And Timothy, because of my father was a convert, and you know converts could be very zealous. So every person born by my has to have an English name. So all these are, and when you talk of tradition, when I say every Yoruba name has something behind it, and I also uphold that, because all my children have names that have this Ola, Folake, my first daughter, Folake Ola.
Wow.
The second one, Ayobola Ola. That is, joy enters into honor, honor enters into.
And is
joy.
is there a
And,
continuity of that, you know, when you're talking about your grandchildren and probably great-grandchildren, if you do have?
Well, my grandchildren, yes, I can see that they try to maintain the tradition. One of my grandchildren, for example, is Babatunde. That is Ayo. Ayo. Babatunde. Except that there is tribal marriage these days.
Yes.
Two of my children, for example, marry from Igbo land.
Wow.
One of the boys married an Igbo girl, and one of the girls married an Igbo boy.
Wow, I think it's...
And they try to mix up, you know, the naming. But they also have tradition. And that's what I want to emphasize in this interview, that it's not only in Nigeria. In many African countries that I know, they also value tradition. And it's reflected in naming practices.
That's so important. Good to know that, or good to be reminded as well. You must, during your childhood, you must have had some kind of experiences, funny, well, otherwise. Perhaps you'd like to share with us today your most, your favorite childhood memory.
I have information that I used to be very naughty.
Ooh.
I was told, because I wouldn't know when I grew up to see myself naughty. But I could remember that I grew up not to take just anything that I was told, small as I was.
You were quite inquisitive.
Inquisitive, and yes, inquisitive. For example, we were talking of tradition. There are so many beliefs that when we were young, we were told, like when it's raining, you should not stand out and put your fingers, you know, trying to harvest
the drops of water.
Yes, the droplets. And what happens when you do that is what will happen. So when nobody is there, when it's raining, I remember that I tried to put my finger in that
to find out what will happen.
Why you are told that we should not be standing in the rain and put our hands trying to.
And were you able to get any results?
And nothing happened. So I had to tell my mother and my father that I did it, and I could. Now my mother was, this boy will kill me, no, because they believe that when the community says this is what you should do, this is what you should not do, any child or anybody that tries to do it will get the punishment. And the belief of our parents is that if they saw me talking like that, they could punish me even from outside, not within the family. And that's why my mother would say. I remember another occasion when we will be told that when we play as boys or girls, we should not collect our urine in the same. You should not urinate on the same spot.
Place, okay.
On the same spot, and you know, we were told all this, But when they took me to school, I wrote that we had an area carved out for
that purpose.
And when it was the period, all of us would come out. We urinate on the same place, boys, girls on the same place. And so when we get back to the village, playing in the evenings and say, or any time, and say, in my language, akitopo, don't do. That is, you should not collect. You shouldn't do your urination in the same place. I said, what happens? They said, is that children's mother would die.
Wow.
So if you did, and I said, okay. How about the one we do in school? Small as I was under 10 or around 10. It is not true. Because we do this every day in the school, and our mothers are still alive.
But do you have a child with this particular traits we're talking about now among your children? Do you have a child?
I wouldn't know, but I know none of my children is into believing what they think is unbelievable. For example, in the area of religion too, they know where I think it's necessary to ask questions, I will ask questions. And where it's necessary, to point out what I believe are ills, or what I believe are not, what I believe are done and are not found in the Bible, which I can read. I know I have that trait, and none of my children too is into believing, just believing without asking questions.
A lot of things have changed. So if you had the opportunity to get a message to millions of people, with a wealth of knowledge, education, experience, what would that message be?
Millions of people. You're talking of the world.
Yes, we're in a global space.
Where what I think is wrong with the world at present is that many individual human beings are selfish. Many individual human beings think more of themselves. Many of the individual human beings think of what they can take from life without thinking of what they can contribute into life. I will want to pass this message that it should be the concern of everybody to consider the other person as a neighbor, the other person to relate with as human being, the other person as somebody to be cared for. And if that is done by everybody, the reciprocal will happen.
Like they say, love is reciprocal.
Yes, the love reciprocal will happen. Today, the world seems to be going astray. In the every country thinks it has nothing to do with other than to exploit another country. Every family thinks of itself first of all, without thinking of what to do to help the other family if you are in a position to do that. Every individual thinks he should just take care of himself or herself without thinking of what you could do to assist the other person. That is, if we all think this way, the world will be a better place. And that will mean, contributing or making the world better than you found it. when we talk of making the world better, it's not just that everybody should be a discoverer of a new scientific something or a technological outfit and so on. If you are able to assist another person in whatever small way to put a smile on that,
regardless of the culture, religion,
regardless
country,
of that's as long as you think it's your own duty to assist this person because you are better off by grace. And that person also grows up, to do same, and so on and so forth. It's going to be a better place.
What do you do for fun? Perhaps maybe something we could do together.
I sing.
I sing too.
You do?
Maybe, okay. Maybe not a good singer, but you sing? Well, I will try. Maybe we'll do that together on the show.
When you talk of singing or music, it reminds me of when I was in my 20s. We initiated an orchestra in my village.
Okay.
And I was the vocalist. And I was also the accordion player. And I remember, just as we are talking of fun, that we used to have fun every Christmas. We have engagements during the marriages and things like that. And I remember one song that we composed.
Okay.
It's in Yoruba language.
I would like to enjoy that song.
It goes like this. Dariji wa o, Dariji wa Ọlọ́run. That is, forgive us, God, because we are sinners. And we have sinned in so many ways. It says, Dariji wa o, Dariji wa o, Dariji wa o, Baba, Dariji wa o. Dariji wa o, Dariji wa o, Dariji wa o, Baba, Dariji wa o. Gbà wá lọ́wọ́ àgbèrè olè, inúnibíni ìkórìíra ó pọ̀. Baba, Dariji wa o, Baba.
Wow.
Àgbèrè. That's arrogance. Àgbèrè, fornication. Inúnibíni, evil thinking, evil deeds. Ìkórìíra, hatred. And then I say, so many. Gbà wá lọ́wọ́ àgbèrè olè, inúnibíni ìkórìíra ó pọ̀. Baba, Dariji wa o, Baba. That is the chorus. Baba, you say that. Baba, Dariji wa o, Baba.
Wow, your voice is so angelic. We asked the question. We're talking about your voice.
Yes.
And I said it's angelic. Talk to us about it. Or was that the first time you heard that?
Oh, well,
when I mentioned it earlier.
A lot of people have made reference to the sonorous voice, they call it. Angelic, which you call angelic.
Yes, sonorous, because you sang and it sounded so good. I almost forgot I'm still here on net. I thought I was in heaven. So you sounded so angelic. Talk to us about your voice.
Yes, I grew up to discover that it's not man-made, but it started when I was in the school. Even during my first year in school, they discovered that I was one of the good singers. And in those days, whether you like it or not, whether because I attended the mission school, it's not by choice. You are a member of the choir that you will sing on Sunday. So during the week, we had to practice. It's on the timetable. I think once or twice in the week, we learned how to sing and how to beat drums. But I and one Jacob Oladoja, Reverend, he later became Reverend Dr. Oladoja, is late now, of blessed memory. We were the two that used to sing the solo. When it is solo parts, it's either myself or Ladoja. Jacob, we call him that day, is Layi or Ladoja in those days. And I think it's because they discovered that we were blessed with this voice. You know, during the time I was talking about, the Thanksgiving service used to be a very important festival in the year. And we sing so many anthems, even at our age, 8, 9, 10, we will sing long anthems, like Ṣiṣẹ́ o ara mi o, ó bá ṣiṣẹ́ rẹ̀ o tètè o, ilé ayé kò dúró, ara mi ayé ń lọ. Ilé ayé kò dúró, ara mi ayé ń lọ. Ẹ bá ṣètè mọ́ṣẹ́ o. And so on and so forth. We will be rehearsing this because you dare not make a mistake on Sunday. Otherwise, so it continues like that. And when I was in the teachers' college too, I belonged to the choir, and we used to sing hymns, several hymns, on Sundays and during conference meetings and things like that. Even when I was in the university, I belonged to the Baptist students. We Baptist students, we had a union. One missionary then used to come and encourage us, Miss Patrick. We used to sing and to make even tours to Abeokuta Baptist Boys, Baptist Women's College, to Eku Nursing School, Baptist Nursing School in Edo area, and all that. So I've always been, even right now, I'm a member of the Royal Choir of my church. Baptist Church in Bodija, Ibadan here. And I want to say that I have the privilege to be the founder of that Royal Choir.
Wow.
Many years ago, about 20-something years ago, it started. When we broke into early morning service and second service, Yoruba service. The early morning service is English service for whoever wanted. So those of us who opted for morning service, we saw that the church choir members were not so much interested in servicing the early morning one. So we started that Royal Choir. Things are happening differently today than from what I was describing. But I must say that many Christian organizations are responding to this quite well, although in some other areas they may have different objectives. What I mean is that there are so many Pentecostal churches these days that inject social activities into their services, and then introduce things that will attract the youth into their churches. And that is why some traditional churches, well-established churches, traditional in the sense that like Anglican Church, Methodist Church, Baptist Church. Those are the ones I refer to as conventional churches. They are losing members, especially youth, to these Pentecostal churches, because the Pentecostal churches bring into their own services elements of singing, dancing, and things that will interest the youth of today more than. But you are right, taking everything together, we find more youths outside the church today than necessary, and that's unfortunate.
I think it's something that religious religions should address in order to get our youth more engaged.
Yes, to get them more engaged, and then to infuse spiritualism into what they are doing. That's another dimension entirely, because when you attract them using the carrot, what do you call it? The stick and carrot approach. It doesn't go into their minds, and that could be regarded as religiosity as opposed to spiritualism. And that's why you find some mega churches, so many of them are there. That's why you find churches at every corner, so many. Somebody has written that there are more churches than there are clinics in most of our Nigerian cities. More churches, but then why is it that the rate of crime is still growing despite this? And that's why I say we are engaged more in religiosity rather than spirituality.
All right, thank you, Prof. Another interesting question here for you. How did you meet your spouse? Was it an uphill battle or love at first sight?
It wasn't a battle at all.
Oh, really? It was so easy?
It was accidental. No, I wouldn't say it's accidental.
Accidental. Oh, in what sense?
It was February 1971. My final year at the University of Ibadan. The University of Ibadan had if there was a sort of conflict between the police and the students, which involved the killing by the police, killing of one of Ibadan students called Adekunle. When you get to the University of Ibadan now, the student union building is called Adekunle building. Adekunle was the person during his second year that was killed by the police, and that became a big problem because such things were unknown in Nigeria. I would say he was the first student that died under the brutality of the police,
the Nigerian police force,
in that year. So it warranted closing down the university for 2 weeks. They said everybody should just go out for 2 weeks to get things sorted out. And in order not to be bored, I just planned that during these 2 weeks, I'll be traveling from one point to the other, meeting my old school mates and so on, spend 1-2 days here, go to another place. That's what I did. And I moved from Ibadan to Iseyin. Having a few days after, I moved from Iseyin to Ipapo. That's another settlement leading to Shaki in Oyo State. When I got to Ipapo, the person I met there, one Mr. Oguneson, is late now, lived in one bungalow. He was the person I was looking for. He wasn't home. He wasn't at home. But the lady that met me met me with such an enthusiasm to say, "Is who you are looking for is my cousin. He's just gone out. He will soon come back." But I saw that the way I was received impressed me so much.
Wow.
And the image of that, the stature, the everything,
it was just
everything
perfect.
was. So as soon as my friend came, after greeting, and I said, "Yes, I'm just, whiling away the time. I'm not in a mood to study," because I was in my third year class when the thing happened. But then, who is this lady? I said, it's my aburo. She just graduated from the Women's Teachers College, Abeokuta. And those days, for those of us that attended Baptist College, the Baptist College Iwo, students from Abeokuta were our favorites.
Well,
because we marched as teachers and we believe that they have good upbringing. So that's how it is.
Wow. So you just went to her and then you told her about it.
I couldn't speak that day. I just told my friend that, and when I came back to the university now, I started writing my friend and I started writing her. We don't
do letter writings anymore.
It was the vogue. In those days, you would buy the blue type of sheets. It has to be special type. It's not white. It has to be blue. And you have to learn certain language that we used to. I can't remember anyone now. Don't ask me.
So which would you prefer, the jet age where you have to, go to her, gradually buy her flowers, probably change her phone, buy her some gifts, take her out, and then before you tell her, I'm in love with you, or the one you had during your time where you just, saw her, you appreciated her, you wrote her, or both of you exchanged letters. Which would you have preferred?
It's not a matter of which I've preferred. I've gone through one.
You've gone through one already.
And you are in a position to teach me what you do now.
I think now it's a new ball game. It's a different ball game, and it's even expensive, or let's say maybe more expensive.
There are certain things that are even nauseating to me. When you find somebody, a man, I'm not being chauvinistic. When you talk a man kneeling down to present ring to the wife, to the would-be wife.
But that's
I wouldn't know of that one.
That's what we have now.
That's what we do.
You don't like it?
I don't. Why should a man kneel down? It's not kneeling down.
You, and I want to prove my love before the world.
Kneeling down will be the symbol of love.
All right, Prof. All right, for that's another perspective to it.
I don't see it at all.
Prof, how old are you now?
By the grace of God, by this coming November, I'll be 82. I was born 28th November 1940.
Prof, you don't
I started school January 1947. Got out of school December 1954. And so on and so forth.
Prof, you don't look it. You're going to be 82.
Yes.
Tell us the secrets, Prof.
Well, the secret is God's grace. Because I didn't choose between being energetic and being... Nobody is in a position to say, this is what I want. That's why I say it's God's grace. But then, let me add that the grace of good upbringing is there, because from my very, very early days, we were brought up, to respect elders, to do household chores regularly, because You have to take care of your father's sheep in the morning, presenting it with cassava, and things like that. And for your mother, you have to take care of the chicken in the evening before you go out to play. You have to do all these things. And on Saturdays, when you are out of school, you have to help your father in the home. And I want to chip in here that where my father's farm was my settlement in Lajioke is situated on a hill, and you have to descend down to a level ground to make your farm. So you descend, you walk, and when you are coming back with heavy load, you have to ascend right from the farm. Ascension, very, very deep slope, and that's about 3 or 4 kilometers. Ascending is still there today.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were brought up to be strong. We were brought up to love, to work, and things like that. And the school that I attended, after the 3 years in my community school, is 8 kilometers in Lajioke to Okeo Baptist Isha Baptist School. About 80 kilometers.
That's a whole lot.
A whole lot. You have to do that to and fro every day.
So that actually helped.
Oh, I think it did.
Unlike what we have now,
it did.
From the house, the children getting in the car,
into the car.
vehicle,
No,
and to school, and some use the
And then I have the privilege to attend the Teachers College, where I think I have had the best of trainings in life. In the Teachers College,
how do you mean?
In the Teachers College, you are taught how to farm, you are taught how to keep pottery, you are taught how to do crafts, you are taught to exercise on daily basis, you are taught to be knowledgeable in all games so that you can go to school and teach in football, teach in volleyball, teach in basketball, in everything.
So Prof,
we went to this for 4 years. It was so regimental that I'm still used to today.
Wow, that's...
This morning I've done my indoor exercise, which lasts only some 15 minutes, but within that 15 minutes I will sweat.
That's
before going to, and I had the privilege of knowledge of how to eat and what to eat,
knowing what to
and
eat,
where to eat,
and when.
All those things are very, very important.
All right, Prof. So what activities make you lose track of time? You're so carried away and you just forgot that, wow, time is gone. What activities?
Oh, I've been brought up to be time conscious. I was referring to the Teachers College the other time. Every minute of your 24 hours is regimented, and you dare not miss it. These missionaries were so strict, and the African tutors too. So we were taught to be very, very mindful of time. I can't find myself saying, the time is gone, time tilo.
So for you,
it's not time that is going.
The African time is not in your dictionary.
No. I think it's an insult when we insult ourselves when we talk of African time. Where do the African find that time? The time is graduated there, is there. God has done it 24 hours a day. You work for 8 hours, you recreate for 8 hours, you sleep for 8 hours, and that's what you
train
do.
Our minds
you have
do the
to,
right thing.
You have to just plan yourself. Before I go to bed, before I sleep off, I will have planned what my schedule will be today. What time I will wake up, what time I will expect a Galaxy team, 11 o'clock, to have this interview. And that's how I was brought up. Wow. So I wouldn't know of any time that I would say, I've lost time. Even when you are in a party, you continue to, when I get out of Ibadan and I'm in a party, I'll be mindful of the time when I should leave, because I know how much it will take me to drive back to home. And things like that. So one has to be, I say, time knowledgeable.
So, and another interesting one here, Prof. As an expert of urban and regional planning, what state are we, or how well are we doing in Africa with regards to rural development and city planning or urban planning?
City planning and rural developments in Africa, broadly speaking, talking Africa as a whole, we are not doing well, in the sense that we are not demonstrating enough political will to plan. Planning is a public undertaking. As a planner, I cannot say, I want to plan Ibadan. Is the governor or the legislator in your state that will say our cities have to be planned, and they will provide the wherewithal to do the planning. If that political will is not there, then there is no planning. And that's why you find many of our cities and rural areas growing haphazardly. But having said that, I would say that countries in Africa, they vary in the way they respond to the issue of planning. I would say in a country like South Africa, for example, planning is taken more seriously.
What about the likes of Kenya?
Kenya, yes. I will also say Kenya is another city, because I've visited that country quite a number of times, where you have the United Nations headquarters in Africa. They are doing well, because in Kenya, as of, I talked to somebody a few days ago from Kenya, and he's telling me that to get a planning approval in Kenya doesn't take you more than 2 weeks. 2 weeks, because the thing is done online. Even the visitation, the inspection, everything, within 2 weeks, you can get your. Here in Nigeria, it can take you months. It can take you months. And what makes even Nigerian case worse is that many cities don't have master plans within which,
even a city like Lagos?
See, Lagos used to have a master plan, but then at the expiration of that master plan, when they ought to have initiated another one, Lagos didn't. But, talking of city planning, generally in Lagos, things are improving, because a visit to Lagos today will show you that things are improving, but still, you still have a lot of haphazard development, especially in the waterrun areas. In the waterrun areas where children wade through floods to get to their school, where people dump their refuse on water, where people defecate on water. It's still, a lot still needs to be done. With respect to Lagos, during rainy season, this rainy season is coming now, It's going to be a hell on earth for many parts of Lagos for flooding. Why? Because the planning of the drainages are not there. And the information we have been having in the past few decades, that sea level rise is going to affect or has been affecting so many coastal settlements, including Lagos, Accra, Warri, Calabar, all those places, that we need to be proactive. We have not been, and I started by saying political will has been lacking. If you visit a country like Senegal in West Africa, you will see evidence, more evidence of city planning and rural planning than in some other countries. I'm just trying to say we vary in Africa in the way we respond to planning issues. Botswana is a country that can be emulated too.
So Africa, we're trying, but Africa needs to do a whole lot.
Yes,
all right,
a lot more.
Because of time, we are almost there to the point where we shall be saying a BYE prof in a sentence or two. Though it will get to a point where we would have to start talking about, okay, let me just put it this way. What would you want to be remembered for? Or how would you love to be remembered?
To be remembered?
Yes.
When I'm gone? Why? Okay.
That's it. It's a $1 billion question, but then it is also important that we start to.
It's a $1 million question because I have not been concerning myself with what people will think about me when I die. I've always concerned myself about doing the right thing as much as is humanly possible.
And that's exactly what people will remember.
And helping other people that I think I'm in a position to help. And I have, with all the small resources at my disposal, I have been doing so because since I've started work, there has not been any time you get to my household that you not get 2, 3, or 4 people that I am assisting one way or the other.
Prof, in a nutshell.
Excluding not talking even of my children from elsewhere that I think I'm in a position to help.
Just found out another interesting thing about you now from what you have said, that you are a philanthropist.
A
philanthropist.
If that's what you call a philanthropist.
That's for me. You have a good heart.
Yeah,
you go about helping other people.
I try to develop that good heart. And when we are talking of religion, many people these days are in religion because of the enemy they want to conquer. When you go to some churches, the prayers will center of, our enemies. My enemy should die. The enemy should do this. God should punish my enemy. Is that prayer? I do not believe that I have an enemy. And I don't believe any enemy is there to pursue my life or whatever. So my mind is free. If that's also an attribute, I go to bed straight, not thinking of anything evil against of anybody or things like. Even as things are worldwide today, and Nigeria in particular, I'm mindful of what is going on, but I don't let it wear me down. That you can travel between now here and another settlement in Nigeria and be kidnapped. Those are issues. So what you have discovered, thank you for...
In a nutshell, you are a man with a good heart. Okay, we'll just put it, we'll just let it be that way.
I try to be.
In your little way, and that's really good. Thank you so much for coming on the Galaxy Show. And we hope next time when we're calling you, you will just, you know, give us a positive answer, and boom, well, you're here with us again.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for your time. Yeah. All right, so it's a wrap on the program, the Galaxy Show today, and we were able to get Professor Timothy Olayiwola Egunjobi on our program, on the show today. It was really a great time, and I hope that you learned one or two things, especially try to be a man, a woman, a girl, a boy with a good heart. It is very important, and from there the world becomes a better place, like the late Michael Jackson had said in a lot of songs that he actually produced while he was alive. Anyway, it's a wrap on the program today. Meet us again, same station, same time. My name is Elizabeth Woku, and don't forget, it's the Galaxy Show on the Rock Hill International TV. Have yourself a blessed day. Bye for now.
Bye.